Joining us now on stage is Jeremy Potvin, as I said, of World of Angus. He's going to talk about validating ideas and finding your first customers. Jeremy's a serial entrepreneur with a background in apparel, retail, and technology. He currently runs World of Angus. Founded in 2015, World of Angus is a media and lifestyle e-commerce brand and a massive pet market. Jeremy also mentors young entrepreneurs through the Founders Institute, where he helps entrepreneurs with idea validation and go-to-market strategies. He's a great speaker, gushing with insights and ideas on how to build a business, and he will share a methodology that every entrepreneur should use to validate their ideas. Please join me in welcoming Jeremy Potvin.
Hey, Bruce. Am I on? Great, good. I'm Jeremy from World of Angus. Thank you very much for having me here. This is, there's my clicker. Easy the biggest crowd I've spoken in front of, so humbled to be here, and I truly hope you guys get some value out of the stories I tell. So yeah, 3 months ago they asked me to speak here, and they said, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, I don't know. How about the two things I kind of only talk about is idea validation and finding your first customers. I have these two speeches that I kind of mashed together, and I just said, well, we'll do that. But then a lot of people here just started tweeting at me, saying, oh, I can't wait for you to talk about dog supplies and your passion for pet products and a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, I wasn't gonna fucking talk about that at all. And people just kept tweeting at me, like a lot. And like, they got aggressive. Mars took my Facebook profile picture and photoshopped out my boat and my dog. And I just noticed last night, they took the left side of my shirt and put it onto the right side of my shirt because my chest was like exposed. Because I guess it wasn't appropriate for Twitter, definitely not the slide. So that's when I caved. And I stayed up till 2 in the morning last night and rewrote this whole thing so we could talk about World of Angus. So a quick little background on me. I was in the apparel industry for about 20 years, and I started off with a brand called Santana Parasuco. I launched Parasuco in Canada. I did that for 5 years. Post that, I launched the Canadian sales and distribution division of a company called Paul Frank, which was a glorious 10-year run of way too much fun and a lot of success. During that part of my career, I ended up buying this massive outlet store in Cambridge, and we ended up turning into a small chain in the Cambridge Kitchener area. It was called Keepers, kind of like an Urban Outfitters meets Winners meets Brandy Melville sort of thing. We ran that, had a really small, shitty exit after the financial crisis. But it gave me the opportunity to just hurl myself into tech startups. And I'm gonna share a story with you how I fucked something up pretty well. And because I tried to solve a problem that was really just relevant to me. And idea validation is so important. I mean, you're all here for a reason. You're either about to launch a company and quit your job, or you've already done it, and you're looking for ways to, to grow your business. With Shift Hub, we had the opportunity. We were about to build our software, a slightly better version of an already shitty software that not enough people were using, for the 4th time. We got in, Shift Hub had the classic story arc. I mean, we MVP'd for a year and a half. We got into an accelerator. We raised just under $1 million. We hired a team, and we were onboarding customers and pushing out features, and we just weren't getting the accelerated traction that we wanted. And just as we were about to build this thing again for the 4th time, it would have been such a disaster. I was given the opportunity and introduced to Andrew, one of the co-founders of Checkout 51. Does anyone know what Checkout 51 is? So Checkout 51 is a couponing app. Literally, you go buy stuff, you take a picture of the receipt, and they send you money. But talking to Andrew about how they validated the idea, whether they should even do this, changed the way I think about problems, changed the way I think about new features, new products, and changed the way I think about companies. So let's go through this. Now, I like to tell this story with emojis. My new keynote last night wouldn't take any of the new emojis, so I was kind of bummed. So there's some weird ass emojis in here. But let's get through the story. So defining a problem first is really important. And when you look at the way coupons, and I'm talking a coupon, like you get a coupon in the mail. Your typical process of getting a coupon, the newspaper or magazine shows up, or some flyer shows up and you've got a coupon for like Dove soap. Go buy Dove soap and you get $1 off. So you clip the coupon, you get in your car, hoof it down to Shoppers Drug Mart, run up and down the aisles, you find your Dove soap and you've got your coupon. You go up to the cashier. This actually happens. You give it to the cashier, they type it in, yep, that's the soap, minus $1. Coupon goes under the till, you go home, have your shower, you're happy. The rest of this process is a nightmare. Every day, at the end of the day, the manager goes around with a bag, gets the coupons, sticks them in a bag, and fills that thing, and at the end of the month, this giant bag full of coupons gets boxed up, picked up by a truck, driven to the East Coast, for people who are not fishing, count and sort these things, and give the data back to the brand. So Dove soap now has to spend $700 to Shoppers Drug Mart, $1,000 to, Loblaws, whatever. That's literally how this happens. So everyone in this room right now is thinking, well, we could do that better. You just build an app, and that solves all the problems in the world, right? Does it? Do you know people are going to do the thing you want them to do? Sometimes the worst thing for a startup or a new company is 4 smart people in the room just talking to each other. You need to talk to your customers. And you need to talk to them in a way where you're not really telling them what you're going to do. And it's so hard to talk about the problem you're trying to solve, to validate it, without talking about the thing you want to build. Because first of all, with technology, not everyone here is going to be building something in tech. You could be opening a cinnamon bun shop on College Street or something. But in the example of tech, it's too sexy. You can say to anybody, I'm going to build an app that does this, and you're like, oh, I totally use it. Really? Everyone open up their phone, double pump the home button, and look at the last 10 apps you used. Look at the last 20. You have 200 apps on your phone. The other 180 are ideas that weren't validated enough. You're not using them. You've downloaded them once, they kind of wave at you every once in a while, and that's it. If you're not in that first 20, you didn't validate the idea properly. So there is no emoji for a coupon blogger, so we're going to go with the ghost. But to validate this idea, these guys went and found a coupon blogger. They said, we're not going to write a single line of code, we're not going to do anything. Found a coupon blogger and talked to this person, write a story, we want you to invite 1,000 people into our beta, and we're going to do something every Monday. Does anyone get the beta joke at all? Nothing? I got to lose the beta joke. Okay. Every Monday, one day, by the way, 1,000 people signed up for this beta. And the instructions were every Monday morning they would get an email with a list of products to go buy. Okay? Again, Dove soap, $1 off, crisp for 75 cents. They just made up their own products and emailed it to everybody. It said, go use whatever you want, a camera, a BlackBerry, anything you want, take a picture of your receipt and send it back to us. They had a team who were just sitting there with this massive spreadsheet with 1,000 names. As soon as somebody hit $20 in receipts, like photos of receipts, they would get a check for 20. They sent real money to the consumers. So you got a happy consumer. They wanted to do this to see, will they do this if we tell them what to buy? And when do they tap out? Do they keep doing this, or is it like a one-time kind of novelty thing? 8 weeks later, people were using this a lot. So you might stop there and say, all right, we've proven that they're going to do it. Nope. There's 2 parts of this ecosystem I'm talking about. And the next one's the brands. So that whole horrific process of driving bags of coupons to the East Coast generally costs a brand about $6 to give somebody $1 off of soap. It's a lot of money. They print about 100,000 coupons, generally 5,000 get redeemed. So these guys, knowing that, go to the brands with a ton of actual data that people really did it and said, if we give the consumer $1, would you give us 2 to Dove soap? Dove soap is absolutely, here's your check. So once they'd proven out both sides of this ecosystem, that's when they wrote their first line of code. That's when they knew they were ready to go. I had talked to them it was February. They had finished this process around, I think October they'd launched the app. By February they had 250,000 weekly active users, and they're making about $60,000 a week in profit. So they validated their idea really well. What did I do with this information? So immediately, I'm joking immediately, like I got in my car, called the guys, and said, stop everything. We were just about to go into production on the 4th version of our shitty software. It said, we are going to stop right now. We took 6 weeks off to go through customer focus groups, because this idea I told you is pretty binary for Checkout 51. You have to figure out your own way to validate your business. And I always say, like, after this, if you want to DM me on whatever, we can set up a call and I can go through like ideas on how to do it, because I'm getting pretty good at it. But we went through focus groups where we asked everybody about their business. One thing we realized, we based this off of my experience with my stores, which was so stupid, because it was singular. It was just my experience. We talked to customers we had, customers we lost, and customers we wanted. Stores from size of, our application was for restaurants and retail. We were talking to operations like maybe 4 people, to the big meeting we had was with Sporting Life, which was just like hundreds of people. We had a huge executive team. And we made them physically go through every minute of a full week, from Monday morning to the end of Sunday, watching for managers to get frustrated just recounting their week, because we knew we were going to see the opportunities on the questions we had never asked before. And it worked. We figured out no one cared about staff scheduling. Like, they were just going to do it anyhow. They cared about communicating with their staff. Now, it was almost too late. We'd kind of run out of money. Our cap table was a disaster. We were unsuccessful in raising more money. I kept the thing alive, and we ended up, we had built a brilliant marketing machine, which is a great segue into the next thing we're going to talk about. But we had built a really great product, and we were proud of the process, and I wish I had talked to them earlier, and I understood this process earlier, but I carry that story with me, and I don't approach anything without applying that in the best way I can to whatever problem I'm trying to solve or whatever new product I'm trying to build. Okay, so you've validated your idea, you're still here, okay, and now you want to move forward, and you got to get your first customers. That's why we're going to, now this is what I stayed up till 2 a.m. last night changing, is because, okay, you win, tweet at me all day, I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about World of Angus, and I figured, you know what, let's just pull back the veil. I'll literally tell you exactly how we started this company. Finding your first customers, we're not talking about your actual first customers. I hope everybody here knows that your actual first customers are people like your mom. Like Diana was lucky, she had Craig in the US. You know, mine was my mother. We went live and my mother and dad, they bought a pair of booties and some shampoo. So like Gary Vaynerchuk talks really well about this. Look him up on first customers. You literally just have to guerrilla call everybody, phone your friends, post your own personal network. Those are your actual first customers. But we want to talk about customers at scale and your long-term strategy here. So for World of Angus, we knew we had to do these 4 things. I'm going to make cool products. We want to connect with our consumers, earn their trust, and then ask them for a sale. There are so many ways to do this, and there's so much information out there. I'm hoping the takeaway from this segment of the talk is you have to literally do everything. I want everyone to go home and tell your spouse, your best friend, whoever, I'm about to lie to you like for the next 2 years. And not like real lies, but like, you know, honey, we've got dinner with the Joneses at 7:30 on Friday. No, you don't. You're going to be doing this. This is a bone-crushing amount of work. And let me share this story. So we had to pick a starting point. Okay, we're in the dog space. I knew all the cool stuff I wanted to make. I wanted to make homeware, beds, apparel, like develop our own fabrics. That was like, and we wanted to make as much in Canada as we possibly could. And if you are unfamiliar with the current state of Canadian manufacturing, I have my work cut out for me. There's not a lot of them left, and whoever's left is really good, and their capacity is maxed out. So like me kicking the doors and saying, come work with me, I'm still kicking indoors. But I figured out the one thing that I could launch that gave us a really strong brand statement, and that was our grooming products. From 0 to 6 weeks, we launched these. Great design, incredible products. We try to be all natural and organic whenever possible. We have this really cool rule. Anyone who joins a company, you have to use, you'll see on the bottle it says, tested on humans for dogs. You have to use an entire bottle of our dog shampoo on yourself, just to be familiar with it. It is really an amazing product. And it was a very rapid prototype. But the best part about it was it just created our brand. This is our mission. This is what we stand for. We're cool, we're clean aesthetics. You know, we're for a modern dog owner. I find most dog stuff just looks like modified kids shit. Like shampoos, it's like dogs can't see the goofy bubbles and shit on this thing, right? Kids' toys and dog toys, they're almost indistinguishable. There's a little Easter egg, by the way. So anyway, we launched this. This was our starting point. So great, I got my starting point. You've got to connect with everybody. You've got to find every human being and get all of the attention you possibly can from them. Okay, and you got to figure out where they are, what they're doing, and who are they. You know where they are. They're on all of this stuff. And there's going to be another, like if I gave this talk 6 months from now, there'd probably be one more thing on this list. They're on Facebook. It's massive. Where are they? You got to find them. Twitter, Instagram is massive for us. Our #1 assisted conversion right now is Instagram. Snapchat, it's exhausting. I hate it, but you know you got to be on it. And Pinterest, and we'll do a big deep dive into Pinterest here. The only way to connect with your consumers, the ones that are going to think the thing that you're doing, that you've already validated, is cool, and they either want to buy it or do it, whatever it is through content. Now, when I first started giving this talk, maybe like 3 years ago, content, the word content meant a lot of different things than it is now. I still think the basis of a great content strategy is writing, start a blog, and start being an expert in your space, and start writing, like right now. But it also means photography, great photography. You cannot launch a restaurant in this city unless you have a solid Instagram strategy. And that's your content, you know. I don't know if anyone's really gonna read a restaurant blog, but they are gonna inhale your Instagram feed if it's good. And that's gonna fill your restaurant, it will. I'm a very big believer in your content strategy. You should have this before you launch your company. And if you've already launched your company, don't panic, but you're going to start doing it tonight. And it's, again, you have to do everything, test, and start to fine tune down. Again, at the end of this, I want you to have have a million ideas, test a bunch of them, and you want to get down to 4 or 5 or 6 that you do every single day. This company started with me on my back porch every morning, when it was just me, at 6 a.m., working on our content strategy till 10 a.m. And I had this rule, I wasn't even allowed to look at my inbox. Nothing. 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. every single day, going through my content strategy. So again, I said great content strategies always start with writing. You can apply what I'm about to say to photography, but you want to whiteboard every single idea. So I'll go back to ShiftHub for 1 second. The marketing engine we built for ShiftHub was brilliant. If you were a ShiftHub customer, you were either a restaurant or retail store owner or manager. Okay, what does that owner or manager think about? Do they want to read about me talking about fucking staff scheduling all day? No, no one does. I literally still don't. But what that manager or owner does want to hear about is how to spot an employee that will possibly churn, how to set up a great strike zone for the upcoming holiday season, how to manage my margins better. You want to become an expert in the space that your business exists in, because then they're going to trust you, and no one's going to buy anything from you if they don't trust you. When we applied that to World of Angus, it was how to take your this is the best list ever, because we get to play with dogs all day. How to take your new puppy to a park, 5 things to take on your first road trip with your dog. You want to start writing about stuff that people in the space will be interested in. Now again, back then we were one guy, me, on my back porch. I had another person who was a contributing writer, and she would write one story every 1 to 2 weeks. But I wanted to post a lot more than that. And I'm going to get into my little Pinterest hack that we developed. We started Angus Post, which was like the beginning of our media site. And I built it on something called Pressly, which is a really easy build. Honestly, in an hour you can have one of these things set up. They're not cheap, but it's worth it. Pressly is a platform which lets me publish curated content to a hub that I set up, so it's on my domain. So for example, I would go on BuzzSumo every morning and look for content that was trending. Everyone write down BuzzSumo, because finding content is so easy on BuzzSumo because it also tells you where it's trending. Is it trending on Twitter, Pinterest? It's a really great product. They have a pro version that's like $50 a month, but the free one is pretty damn good. I would post about 100 articles a week. Now for me, I was looking for stuff that was trending, stuff that was on brand. I didn't really post a lot of bleeding heart stuff. Puppies always did well. Anything to do with military dogs always did well, especially in the US. But what I looked for were articles that had really great pictures. Because let's say there was one, I remember this one BuzzFeed article, it was like 33 of the cutest Doberman pinschers you've ever friggin' seen. Like, okay, and there's all these little puppies. I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing. Post it to the hub, and here's how we hacked it. We had a buffer, we still have this, a buffer account, okay, that we queue up all these pictures. So we take the 33 pictures from the article, we queue them to get posted from Buffer onto Pinterest. I changed the source URL of all of the pictures to point back to where I posted it on my hub. So we got all the traffic. So it's got a great little blurb as to why we posted it. We set up 33 pictures a day that go out every 15 minutes over 3 different blocks of time. When people were most using Pinterest, we had a pretty aggressive follow-like strategy, so we had some decent followers. We got really lucky and got invited to 2 boards that collectively had 130,000 followers. We were driving about 3,000 visitors a week from this strategy, just from Pinterest, to Angus posts. About 22% of those would make their way back just through a small amount of ad real estate we built onto it, back to World of Angus, and we could convert about 0.7% of those. I think it was a $35 cart size or something back then. So it was working. By the way, Pinterest is the best because they spend a lot of money. I think when I put the slide up, originally, I think the average spend on Facebook was $12. The average spend on Twitter was $7. The average spend on Pinterest was $50 US. People, all of you have been on Pinterest and no one will admit it. Like I never find anyone who actually admits that they're on Pinterest half the time, but there are so many people on Pinterest just looking for shit. You need to be on Pinterest. So I've always got this thing. If it works, do more. Okay, so for us, this strategy really worked, but I knew where I wanted to take it. We had that one article that we were posting every week or 2 weeks. We had one that we posted on our World of Angus blog, and we would share it on the Presley Hub. And one of them just went ballistic, and we had 600,000 visitors in about 5 days. Guess how many sales we got out of that? Nothing. We weren't prepared at all, because all the traffic went to our Shopify site, on the blog on that, they're really shitty blogs on Shopify, by the way. There is no ad real estate. There's no way for me to push them into product pages. So that's when we decided to do a little bit of an upgrade. And then we went to straight original content. We abandoned now we had a team. We had raised a bit of money. We had a team. We had writers. At one point, we were up to 12 writers. I think we're down to like 3 now. But we write a lot of content. I think we're up to about 100, 150 original articles a month. And we want to push that to about 200 a week is the goal by the end of Q2 next year. We have a lot of very dynamic ad real estate built out on Angus Post, and where we've got house bidding, where it's like, based on CPMs, and if someone lands on the site and we're valuing our CPMs at $3, and someone's got a Wealth Simple cookie for $10, we'll serve the Wealth Simple ad instead. But this will drive a lot of traffic back to not only just our Shopify sites, but all of our other sales channels. We're on Amazon now, or eBay. We've got a lot of sales channel partners. What does this do for us? So all this work. Another thing too, and this is gonna suck. You have to pick these strategies and you have to do them, but promise me you don't measure a thing for like 6 months, because you'll stop. Because you're gonna look behind you and it's nothing but crickets. Nothing. Because this is the way the graph goes. And then it starts to creep up. But this is like 6 to 8 months in where it starts to level out. You're not gonna have anything do really well until you've had about 400 things do just shit, like nothing. You have to get good at this. You have to understand your consumer, but put the time in, trust me. You can go raise a bunch of money and you can throw a bunch of ads at, a bunch of money at Facebook newsfeed ads, skip the 2 steps, just make cool products, get people to buy. But you're not building anything long-term. You're not building anything anyone's gonna buy from you. That's not a sellable business. Connect with your consumers. Get their trust. And what you also get is ideas on relevant products. So this is a snapshot from our Instagram feed a long time ago. It does not look dissimilar from this now, but we noticed that anything with a quote really kind of spiked. Like, double the likes, double the comments on a freaking quote. It isn't even a picture of a dog or a product. So what do we do with that information? We made our bed covers with quotes on them. We wouldn't have known to do this. These are some of our best-selling products. We've got Every Day I'm Snuggling, 99 Problems But a Nap Ain't One, Dog Bed on Fleek, 6 Dog is a new one coming out. We just keep coming up with these things. They come in different colors now. This is, if you guys are familiar with Bar Ravel, that's Grant Van Gameron's dog, little Tallulah Blue. She's super cute. This is what you get from a really well-executed content strategy. You connect with your consumers. You connect with the people that care about the products that you're making and you're going to make, and you earn their trust. And this has led to our affiliate program as well. We've got all these little dogs that like literally one of our team members, Lori Lynn, sits and literally just DMs dogs all day. We kind of aim for dogs that have, there are so many celebrity dogs on Instagram, it's insane. Like between 14,000 and 50,000 followers is our sweet spot. And we kind of go after breeds at a time, like a bunch of Yorkies and a bunch of Frenchies and Great Danes. And we just say, hey, do you want to be part of our affiliate program? And they're like, sure, what does it entail? And we send them this little package of shampoos, and if they've got enough followers, maybe a blanket or a bed. And they give us content back now that we get to use in contextual feeds on our product pages, that we use in ads, that we repost to our Instagram feed. It's amazing. This is my favorite thing that we do right now is our affiliate program. I think we have about 100 affiliates, and the goal of our affiliates is to have 2,000 of them by the end of Q2. It's a lot of work, but some of these guys are delivering us about a 600% ROI. So to summarize on what I need you to do, make cool products. This is really important. Connect with your consumers, earn their trust is my favorite part of this 4-step thing, and then ask them to buy. You got to do the first 3 things first before you're asking people to buy from you. And again, if you want to ask me any questions, you can DM me on Instagram or Twitter, or you can just, I hate email, so it takes me a while to get back to you, but you can email me at Jeremy@World of Angus. And I would love to hear some questions, and you can go super detailed in anything that I might have sort of brushed over. But that's it.
I'm in the startup phase, and I'm doing everything myself, including the blogging.
Good.
I'm realizing that it's unsustainable. I need help. So where do you find people to write the content for? You go overseas, ask your friends?
Yeah, honestly, it was, I always say it starts with one meeting. You know, Facebook is the way that you find almost everybody. We had found our head of content, this girl Nicole, who unfortunately she's just recently moved on, but we found her, and I was talking to her because I was trying to acquire another site that had a ton of traffic, and she was part of the original team, and I just kind of found her and went and talked to her, and she liked the idea of what we're doing, and so she joined the company. Startup meetups. Honestly, there's got to be Facebook groups around content producers. There's Startup North is a great place to start looking for people, but look, there's a lot of writers out there looking for things to write about, and you can success.
What's the cost involved in, let's say, producing an article a day?
Like 25 to 50 bucks a story. Okay. Sort of that's where we operate in, and they're like, you know, these are 400 to 600 word stories. Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem. Thank you.
Good morning. You're talking about selling product, but what if you're trying to sell a service? How can that work? And if there's other competitors out there, how do you put yourself out there?
So services like Shift Hub was a service, right? That was a software as a service. So everything that I learned that we're doing with World of Angus, I taught myself when we were running Shift Hub. And like being an expert in a field works with any business, whether it's service, food products, restaurants, you name it, it literally works for any business. Because anyone buying a service, you know, they're looking for things in and around the service. Can I ask you what the service you're thinking of is?
Legal.
So it's legal. So go look on Google Keyword Analytics. People are searching, you'll find a million different keywords around the subject of legal that people are searching for. I would start with the top 25 keywords and either write stories and articles about that yourself or find someone who can. And there's a lot of people in the legal world who like to write.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a million questions I want to ask you, but
Let's start with one.
I have a business in cosmetics, and like you, my clients really enjoy the visuals.
Yep.
So thank you for all the comments. But one of the challenges I'm having is I have a wide range of demographic of client, and some of my products are suited to some and some are suited to others. Do you have special content that you have for certain demographics? And if you do, how do you find what those different demographics are and create the content for them?
So we have an idea at this early stage, and I'm going to say early stage because Angus Post as an original source of content has been live in its form like it is now for maybe 4 months. So we're still figuring out what our demographics are. I like the idea of focus, personally. I mean, I have the attention span of a walnut. It's hard for me to focus, right? So, but it is really beneficial for a business if you can focus in on one demo. What we have noticed with World of Angus is, we had pictured this sort of cool young couple, maybe late 20s, early 30s, and they've got their $800,000 condo and all this cool stuff around. It's like, where do they buy their stuff? They're not going to fucking Pet Value to go buy a Martha Stewart licensed piece of shit bed, right? I've got to make something that they're going to want to buy. But guess who else likes this stuff? Empty nesters who are cool and rich, like 55 plus, love our products. It's probably possibly our biggest demo. And I had no idea I wasn't making anything for them. But they get it because they get everything.
But don't you think that the marketing should be different for those two demographics? And I'm doing the same thing because I'm making a really quality product that I'm trying to educate people on, like you.
Yes.
So we don't fit into the exact mold because there aren't a lot of independent retailers that are willing to take on products because they're not mass, they're not global, yet. And that's a challenge for me. So targeting is really my focus for right now, trying to figure out who that is and any way that you could share that you're doing.
So, you can test content on Facebook. You can push it into targeted audiences. Okay, you can pay for it and you can select.
Do you do that?
Yeah, we do that,
Okay.
absolutely. You can test, like we can take an article and you can run 10 headlines on the thing and run an ad and see which one of these ads gets the most clicks on each different headline and just run it for maybe like half a day. Stop it, and then you can just post that article, and you're going to get an idea of what that demo is, right? Honestly, you're in the cosmetic space, Pinterest is going to be your best friend. Write down the name Ezra Firestone. It's a guy out of New York who's built a cosmetic brand called Cindy something, Boom by Cindy something, I think. Ezra Firestone. This guy is a god on Pinterest. He drives so much business in the cosmetic space, and it's makeup for women, I think 50 plus. There is nobody better at targeting demos for cosmetics than that guy, and he has so much content on how to do it. It is crazy. I love watching this guy's videos. I always get value out of them. Find this guy's videos. He has got a bank of information that is going to help you specifically in the space that you're in.
Great, thank you so much.
No problem.
Hi. Thanks for the presentation, by the way.
Thanks.
Checking your actual website, that I see that your website has some features with a special communication with the clients as well. I mean, there are some features that your clients love your website for, I see. How much, say, for example, out of all this operational activity, how much time that you spend on this website maintenance, in a saying? And secondly, how much do you spend monthly for your website maintenance?
So are you talking about stuff like Yotpo, Facebook Messenger, and like Zendesk?
All these, yeah.
Yeah, so I think our OpEx on the site is around $1,500 a month with all the back-end stuff that we do. And that mostly comes in managing inventory. We have, so if we've got 6 different marketplaces and you've got, 1 bottle of shampoo or 10 bottles of shampoo and someone buys it on Amazon, I need all the other sites to update in real time so we don't oversell the product, right? And we have warehouses in Toronto, 10 warehouses in the US. It's a lot of stuff to manage. So the bulk of the 1,500 is an inventory platform that manages all of that. But we use a lot of these little apps. We built it on Shopify, and if you want to build an e-commerce site, there's just no better place. They have all of the money in the world, and they're going to constantly innovate that thing from now until the end of time. Like there's no other platform to build it on than Shopify. But I find the little apps, like $40 for this, $20 for that, are the ones that are brilliant. Yachtpo is my favorite thing. We get all these reviews. It kicks out after someone purchases something, please write a review, and we get great reviews. It's amazing. What's really cool, and I think is going to kill everything, is Facebook Messenger has this little snippet of code. I drop it in. You can literally chat with me live from the site, like anytime. And if I'm up at 2 in the morning, I'll answer your questions. Thank God they've got this bot technology that's going to replace that so I can actually go to sleep. But all of these little things are super important. Again, like I hope I've communicated this well to you. Connecting with your consumer is paramount. Like my rule is if I'm awake and someone's asking a question, I'm answering it. I don't care what time it is. Unless I'm like hammered or something. But
Do you have a dedicated team or a person, especially actually focused on this website?
yeah, but I have also a rule. I have to know how to do absolutely everything in the company.
Right.
So, but yeah, we have dedicated people to do that.
I see. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey Jeremy, great presentation.
Thanks.
You talked a lot about getting customer validation and client engagement with kind of the B2C realm, selling products. Can you talk a little bit about the customer validation process and the kind of engagement on the B2B side of it? I'm working on a SaaS-based company that's selling specifically B2B, and it gets a bit difficult to get that customer validation. There aren't necessarily the forums and public stuff like that out there, or Facebook groups that we can necessarily go and speak to these people.
So you're talking about validating your idea in the process?
And then also kind of maintaining that kind of client engagement going on.
While it might be challenging, I'm going to challenge you that it is going to be possible. Do you care to share with us what the kind of space it is?
Yeah, it's a business management platform for the B2B. It's kind of the manufacturing industry.
So it's in the manufacturing industry. Okay. Can you tell me one interaction you're hoping that you see happen?
Well, eventually, I guess it's just the initial kind of contact. It's with kind of the industry that we're going after, kind of the construction, manufacturing industry. There's not necessarily the public forums out there.
Are you telling me you're having trouble with lead gen?
Sorry?
Are you having trouble with lead gen? Is that what you're saying? Like lead generation?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's part of it. And then also kind of maintaining that ongoing client engagement with them later to kind of maybe upsell them or kind of all the benefits that you'll get from that customer interaction.
Yeah, so one of the early slides is you got to figure out, these guys are somewhere, right? Like there has to be a place where these people are communicating. And it might literally be a physical space that you have to engage with them. It could be trade shows. It could be, with our SaaS business, I had to really get my head out of going full tech on it. And we dumbed it down to trade shows, and it started working. With our B2B side, we also wholesale at World of Angus. Our biggest success has been data scraping. I literally go to my competitors' websites, and they always have, here's some brand, and they'll have this big where to buy it store list. It's like 700 stores they sell. So I'm like, okay, I'll go through their terms and conditions, and if it doesn't say don't scrape my data, I scrape the whole fucking database. And then I got this other script I wrote, which just pings their mail server, looking for the manager until I get an active valid email response back. I shove all of this into a CRM, and then I just start emailing them in bulks of 25. So 25 emails, 25 another way, the winner, everyone else gets the winner. We bomb everybody on this stuff. So, I think without getting too deep into what exactly it is you're doing, and if you want to connect with me offline and give me some more detail, I could probably help you with this.
Sure.
But there's places where these customers will exist, or your customers will exist, and there's interactions that you're going to want to see. You have to really dig in, and you might have to just go old school and get them in physical places.
Yeah. Perfect.
But
thank you.
Please connect with me, and to be honest, I'm interested. I'd love to help you with this challenge.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey Jeremy, so my question is a very beginner-based question. For approach for entrepreneurship, I noticed that you jump from industry to industry, from tech to fashion, and now the World of Angus is like a mixture of media with retail. Do you find that this gave you a competitive advantage compared to other people that are just trying to directly go go the approach that you're doing?
Yeah.
And do you think that without your history, do you think that your company would have done as well as it did?
It could have. It might have done well in a different way. I'm old, right? So I have that unique advantage, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16. So I've touched a lot of different industries, and yeah, your good observation. I get bored, and I jumped out of the apparel industry because it was changing. It sucked. I wasn't having fun anymore, and I just threw myself into tech. And this current business is sort of the net sum total of everything I've ever done, and it absolutely has given me a competitive advantage. But to be quite honest, the biggest competitive advantage I have is everything we've done with our inbound marketing. And I learned all of that in Shift Hub out of just necessity because we were dying. I had to figure out how do we connect with customers. And I thank every day for Andrew from Checkout 51 for having that conversation with me. It literally just changed everything that, like, it just wiped the chalkboard clean and I started over. So I don't know if I actually answered your question there.
Yeah, I got the information I needed.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Hello.
Hey.
So I'm starting up a charity, and I'm wondering what the best way to come into the market would be.
A charity?
Yes.
Oh, so I know nothing about the charity space. There's one thing I haven't done. Can I ask what it is?
It's pretty much like a movement to kind of like pay it forward in a sense. It would be with a bracelet, and you'd be paying forward that bracelet, and at the same time just be helping people.
So you buy the bracelet, and then you have to buy it for someone else, sort of thing?
So the bracelet you would receive from someone that's doing something humble or something nice for you.
And there's like a message on the bracelet or something, or?
No, it's just you receive that bracelet by either someone seeing you do something humble or nice, or you doing something humble or nice for them. For example, like you're at McDonald's, you buy someone's meal in front of you.
Honestly, my first thing that popped into my head is you need an Instagram strategy, and it needs to be that, like, you got to set this up. You need to have the bracelet doing something. You need to have someone in the middle of this act of charity, and this has got to be a fantastically well done photo. Honestly, I think Instagram, like, I'm also imagining that series of those shots of the girlfriend pulling her boyfriend places. I mean, I'm just immediately thinking of this wrist and where you can put this wrist, because it's right now it's just a bracelet. And how are you going to create a movement? Where do a lot of movements and where do a lot of things, like everything seems to be happening on Instagram right now. Mm-hmm. You've got stories are fucking brilliant. I mean, we get so much more engagement with our Instagram stories than we ever did with the Snapchat strategy that we attempted. I honestly think, like, do you have a target demo?
Not like, I'd just say like pretty much everyone, but like social media wise, I'd say just young people, I'd say.
Dude, Instagram's where you want to live. I would start, like, you could start like a really slow, if you're gonna have a very, well thought out hashtag strategy to reach the right consumers. And when there's the link in your bio has to go to a page, which basically, what squeeze page is, which just drives people down into the interaction that you want. Mm-hmm. Where it very, very clearly sets out your mission and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, just off the top of my head, I think Instagram's where you'd want to launch this.
Okay, and then like on the bracelet on the back, there would be the website where people would go to, right? That would pretty much drag them like into the page that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, no one can click on your bracelet. I mean, that all has to happen in like in your link in your bio.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's like, this has got to be social media based.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect a lot of people to do this. Like, there's no clicking on your bracelet. Like, if someone sees it, like, oh yeah, I'll go do that later, and then the 9 million other, like, they literally turn and like their head's already thinking about something else. Like, you need this to happen it needs to exist in a place where the people you're envisioning participating in this are already doing a lot of stuff. And you have to get their attention.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hi.
Hey there.
I have some natural herbs like organic stevia and other herbs that are very good for treatment of relaxation and insomnia. And food products, like a lot of people cannot eat wheat, So I have products that I can make, like flatbreads. I just don't know how to take the next step. I've given these things to a lot of people over the last 2 years.
Okay.
And it helps, but I don't know how to take the next step.
So you need to find people that need help. And I think Twitter would be a great place for you to do that. You can search for conversations that are occurring, like someone could have a shitty sleep and wake up and go, oh, I dragged myself to the office, I have a 1 hour sleep, I'm on 9 coffees. You want to jump in that conversation. And you want to say, I have a solution for you.
So Twitter would be
Twitter
my
is a great place. So start a following, but because here's the thing, you're going to tweet at them, and they're going to go, who the hell is this? And they're going to go to your Twitter profile, and they're going to read a bunch of stuff. They want to see, you're going to have to spend some time building your own profile as an expert in this space, tweeting out, sharing articles that you think are relevant. You need to write articles about your products, and you need to share these, because when you jump into a conversation, people are going to figure out, who's this person trolling me? And they're going to want to see you're legit. And then they're going to, okay, and you could share a link and say, you know, here's a link and maybe a discount code to try my product.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. I'll just try and keep this quick because they're like last question. Do you have any recommendations on building a cohesive social media strategy? Like, do you have any maybe like YouTubers you'd recommend looking at? Like, I know like Gary Vee is big on that. Any books you'd recommend? Like, how do you kind of learn how to build that whole cohesive strategy on the different like platforms and stuff?
So, is this in one particular industry?
Like I'm gonna be starting up like a hardwood floor business.
Okay.
So like, I don't know how interesting that's gonna be on Instagram or like Twitter, but I know
Dude, I've seen some crazy, I'm not gonna lie to you here, some crazy woodworking Instagram feeds. Like, look for them. There's like, I follow like 10 of these guys. I'm obsessed with these things. So that is a great place for you. I think, yeah, Gary Vee is one of my all-time favorites guys for content. He's obnoxious. I can take him in the spurts. He's like more obnoxious than me. Honestly, the Shopify blog, like anyone here, you could launch a company with the information on the Shopify blog. No one puts out better content that covers every single type of business you can think of in the Shopify blog. Sign up, like everyone should sign up for that now and just start reading it. You get like at least 1 or 2 emails a day. You can go in and search on a variety of different topics. I can't say enough good things about the guys at Shopify. They've got an incredible team and they put out an enormous amount of content. So between Gary Vee and Shopify, yeah, for sure you're going to be able to build a cohesive strategy. And again, don't worry too much about picking the right thing at the start of this. Read something, get inspired, and start doing it. And pick your whole day, and here's all the things I'm going to do every day, like a fucking metronome, and put in 1 or 2 more things, like ruin your day, like so much stuff you don't think you can get it done. Test everything and just start throwing away the things that you don't feel are working.
You said last thing. You said the first 6 months, you're not gonna really have anyone. It's gonna be crickets, right? So
yeah. Well, you get lucky every once in a while. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but sometimes you can get lucky. Yeah. But it's a lot. You have to be patient.
So just be consistent.
The thing is consistency. You want to be consistent. It might sound a little contradictory to what I just said. Do everything and throw away things that aren't working. We knew Snapchat was just we're getting no traction. We should at least see some engagement. It's there's so much Snapchat to me sometimes Twitter a bit, where it's just so much noise. And then when Instagram Stories came along, we totally abandoned Snapchat because Instagram Stories, we're still testing Instagram Stories, and we get fantastic engagement off of this, fantastic.
Thank you very much.
No problem.